A nuclear weapon, also known as an atom bomb, atomic bomb, nuclear bomb or nuclear warhead, or nuke, is an explosive device that derives its destructive force from nuclear reactions, either fission, known as fission bomb, or a combination of fission and fusion reactions, known as thermonuclear bomb. Both bomb types release large quantities of energy from relatively small amounts of matter. A nuclear device no larger than a conventional bomb can devastate an entire city by blast, fire, and radiation. Since they are weapons of mass destruction, the proliferation of nuclear weapons is a focus of international relations policy. Nuclear weapons have only twice been used in war, both times by the United States against Japan near the end of World War II. On August 6, 1945, the U.S. Army Air Forces detonated a uranium gun-type fission bomb nicknamed Little Boy over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. 3 days later, on August 9, the U.S. Army Air Forces detonated a plutonium implosion-type fission bomb nicknamed Fat Man over the Japanese city of Nagasaki. These bombings caused injuries that resulted in the deaths of approximately 200,000 civilians and military personnel. The ethics of these bombings and their role in Japan's surrender are subjects of debate. Since the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, nuclear weapons have been detonated over 2,000 times for testing and demonstration. Only a few nations possess such weapons or are suspected of seeking them. The only countries known to have detonated nuclear weapons, and acknowledge possessing them, are Russia, United States, United Kingdom, France, China, India, Pakistan and North Korea. Israel is believed to possess nuclear weapons, though, in a policy of deliberate ambiguity, it does not acknowledge having them. Germany, Italy, Turkey, Belgium and the Netherlands are nuclear weapons-sharing states. South Africa is the only country to have independently developed and then renounced and dismantled its nuclear weapons. A nuclear triad is a three-pronged military force structure that consists of land-launched nuclear missiles, nuclear missile-armed submarines, and strategic aircraft with nuclear bombs and missiles. This method is used by countries like Russia, United States, China, India, and Israel. United Kingdom uses just sea-based delivery method, while France, Pakistan and North Korea uses land and sea-based delivery method. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons aims to reduce the spread of nuclear weapons, but its effectiveness has been questioned. Modernization of weapons continues to this day. The system used to deliver a nuclear weapon to its target is an important factor affecting both nuclear weapon design and nuclear strategy. The design, development, and maintenance of delivery systems are among the most expensive parts of a nuclear weapons program. They account, for example, for 57% of the financial resources spent by the United States on nuclear weapons projects since 1940. The simplest method for delivering a nuclear weapon is a gravity bomb dropped from aircraft. This was the method used by the United States against Japan. This method places few restrictions on the size of the weapon. It does, however, limit attack range, response time to an impending attack, and the number of weapons that a country can field at the same time. With miniaturization, nuclear bombs can be delivered by both strategic bombers and tactical fighter bombers. This method is the primary means of nuclear weapons delivery. The majority of U.S. nuclear warheads, for example, are free-fall gravity bombs, namely the B-61. Preferable from a strategic point of view is a nuclear weapon mounted on a missile, which can use a ballistic trajectory to deliver the warhead over the horizon. Although even short-range missiles allow for a faster and less vulnerable attack, the development of long-range intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs) and submarine-launched ballistic missiles (SLBMs) has given some nations the ability to plausibly deliver missiles anywhere on the globe with a high likelihood of success. More advanced systems, such as multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles (MIRVs), can launch multiple warheads at different targets from one missile, reducing the chance of a successful missile defense. Today, missiles are most common among systems designed for delivery of nuclear weapons. Making a warhead small enough to fit onto a missile, though, can be difficult. Some scientists estimate that a nuclear war with 100 Hiroshima-sized nuclear explosions on cities could cost the lives of tens of millions of people from long-term climatic effects alone. The climatology hypothesis is that if each city firestorms, a great deal of soot could be thrown up into the atmosphere which could blanket the Earth, cutting out sunlight for years on end, causing the disruption of food chains, in what is termed a nuclear winter. People near the Hiroshima explosion and who managed to survive the explosion subsequently suffered a variety of medical effects. Initial stage, the first 1 to 9 weeks, in which are the greatest number of deaths, with 90% due to thermal injury and/or blast effects and 10% due to super-lethal radiation exposure. Intermediate stage, from 10 to 12 weeks. The deaths in this period are from ionizing radiation in the median lethal range, LD50 late period, lasting from 13 to 20 weeks. This period has some improvement in survivor's condition. Delayed period, from 20+ weeks. characterized by numerous complications, mostly related to healing of thermal and mechanical injuries, and if the individual was exposed to a few hundred to 1,000 millisieverts of radiation, it is coupled with infertility, subfertility and blood disorders. Furthermore, ionizing radiation above a dose of around 50 to 100 millisievert exposure has been shown to statistically begin increasing one's chance of dying of cancer sometime in their lifetime over the normal unexposed rate of approximately 25%. In the long term, a heightened rate of cancer, proportional to the dose received, would begin to be observed after approximately 5+ years, with lesser problems such as eye cataracts and other more minor effects in other organs and tissue also being observed over the long term. Fallout exposure. Depending on if further afield individuals shelter in place or evacuate perpendicular to the direction of the wind, and therefore avoid contact with the fallout plume, and stay there for the days and weeks after the nuclear explosion, their exposure to fallout, and therefore their total dose, will vary. With those who do shelter in place, and or evacuate, experiencing a total dose that would be negligible in comparison to someone who just went about their life as normal.